Hello. Today, we want to unbox one of the SewhaCNM brand weight indicators, specifically the SI410 model, together. All right, first, let's open the box together. When we open the box, there's a manual inside. Inside the cardboard box, there's this comprehensive instruction manual, which we can carefully use for precise calibration settings, as well as for complex relay operation, and for accurately setting the various set points. Additionally, there is also a dedicated power cable included, which we can easily use to provide electrical power to the device. All right, now let's take the device itself out of the box as well. So this is the integrated digital display screen area of this particular device, where you can clearly observe the precise weight measurements. Let me explain that this device is both a weight indicator and a weight controller. In other words, besides showing us the weight, it can also control it for us. So we use this device as our controller. Now here we have a number of buttons. The F1 and F2 buttons can be used for calibration as well as for configuring the device. Here we have a 0 button, which we can use to reset the scale to 0. We have a tare and tare reset button, which allows us to obtain the net weight of the item. There is also a hold and hold reset button. When we press it, the scale holds the weight for us, and when we press reset, it returns to normal mode. We have a part number button, which allows us to input formulas into the device. By formula, we mean the operation of the relays, and we can set different formulas for relay operation. In other words, we can save different set points under the title of part number. For example, part number 1, part number 2. Each of these part numbers saves a set of set points for us. We have a print button. When we establish a physical connection between the device and a printer, at any point in time when we manually press down on the print button, the printing hardware will immediately begin to generate a hard copy for us at that exact moment. We have dedicated start and stop buttons, which we can use when effectively utilizing the internal relays of this specific device. We can use these buttons to manually start and stop our entire industrial process whenever it is necessary. There are the specific SP1 through SP4 control buttons, which we can use to configure and adjust the individual set point values using these 4 buttons. We can easily set each value from set point 1 all the way up to set point 4. There is a clear button, which when we are in the settings, if we press it, it returns us to the previous state. And there's also an enter button that we can use to input the settings. All right, now let's take a look at the back of the device together. Here we have a power supply and a switch, which we can use to turn the power on and off. There is a terminal from which we can take the relay outputs. As you can see, it has 7 relays and 1 common terminal. This section is for the digital inputs, and this device has 6 digital inputs. By digital input, it means that, for example, you can connect a push button, like a start button, to these inputs. When you press it, it performs a certain function for us. Of course, in its functions, there are a series of settings where we need to configure each of these inputs to determine what action it should perform for us. For example, we can set input 1 to perform a zeroing operation for us, or set input 2 to trigger a print command, for instance. Now, according to the tables provided in the manual, we can configure these inputs. This section is related to the RS-232 serial port, which allows us to use this terminal for RS-232 output. This part is for the load cell input, where we can connect the load cell to the device using this terminal. We have 2 option cards, and this device supports various option cards. For example, we can easily incorporate and install an RS-485 serial network communication option card directly into it. Or for another instance, we could add a high-capacity memory card, which will automatically store all of the recorded weight values in a standard Excel spreadsheet format for us to review later. Additionally, there is also a dedicated physical button located right here that is specifically used for performing the system calibration process. If we unscrew this screw, there's a button inside. If we press it, our device will enter calibration mode. Thank you for staying with us.